dad was a musician, and a songwriter. He actually wrote a song for well, he's written quite a few songs that are out there, but the most popular one that I can say that people might know is from Ramirera, Tu y Yo.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have to make a small confession here. For those of you who are tuning in, you're barely listening right now. So I thought we were live, and we weren't. People have been waiting for us to go live. I just went live right now. So sorry about that.
Wait. So this whole conversation we just had.
The last 10 minutes, we were the only ones talking to each other. Nobody knew what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, great.
So let me catch you guys up real quick, and then we'll get back to where we were, if my memory serves me correctly. Sometimes stuff like this happens, y'all. Sorry about that. Okay, so hold on, let me go back. Hold on. I'm Rolando Revilla, and this is Danny Fernandez from Los Musicales.
That is me.
That is him.
Here. I'm still here.
Well, yeah, technical issues today. It happens. Oh, we already got people saying, "Hey, what's up, Danny?"
Hey!
We have Steve Alvarez Blues says, "What's up?"
Oh, what's up, Steve?
So let's rewind a second. I'm gonna kind of try to paraphrase everything that you said. Danny is currently not at home. He's in his hotel room because he works for a medical supply company. And he's been busy with that. And then Los Musicales right now are obviously not playing because nobody's playing because of COVID. Except for, the other guys who are working their day jobs and, doing their thing. And so you've been supplying a lot of hotels.
Hotels? No, not hotels. Close enough.
It started with an H, right?
They might need it too. Who knows?
And so, Musicales are working on a new album, but Danny won't be able to be part of it because of his schedule. Oh, speaking of, we were just talking about the guys in the band. Emmanuel J is on. It says, "What's going?" It says, "Hi, Daniela. LOL, I miss you, brother." James.
Emma! What's going on, Emma?
And for those of you, because we talked about this in the first 10 minutes when you guys were waiting for us to go live and we weren't even live. Emmanuel J is the new, let's just call him auxiliary guy for Los Musicales. He plays accordion and sings keyboards.
Keyboard / sax player.
Keyboard /
keyboard, whatever.
Yeah, he plays a lot of instruments. I saw him go live with his brother and Mario and them.
Yes.
They did that, and props to them. Good musicians right there.
Yes.
We were talking, and then that leads us to where I asked him how long Danny's been with Los Musicales, and he said 21 years, Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yes, 21 years.
So that deserves a drink. Anyway.
Anyways,
and so
the whole conversation we just had was great, and nobody heard it. But hey, let's get to this.
I always joke around with the guy. Well, not joke around. I always make it a point that when we have these interviews, everyone is absolutely different, and we have different things to talk about. I have to say that this is the first time that we've had this snafu. I was checking on my phone to see if anybody's
How lucky is me?
I was checking my phone like, why is nobody messaging? And it says waiting to go live, and I said, no, hombre, la fregada. So I messed that up.
Nobody wants to ask questions.
I was like, man, come on, we're not that ugly. Well, I mean, I'm not. I'm speaking up for myself. Oh yeah, Batman T-shirt this week. Every week I showcase a different T-shirt. If you guys have a band or whatever, want me to wear a T-shirt, just send it to me. Hit me up in Messenger or whatever. But we ain't talking about me. So Danny, you were saying,
yes.
You're born in Chicago. At a young age, you guys moved to West Texas. Your dad had a band, and we'll go from there because that's where we were before I realized that we weren't broadcasting.
And you just continue to let me talk, and go ahead, let this fool talk. It's okay. You can continue talking. Nobody's watching anyways.
No, but you know what? Yeah, it's crazy because I'm like, man, there's already people watching. I'm like, but why is nobody answering? Because I wasn't broadcasting. It's one button I forgot to press, and that's...
Hey, Rolando.
Yes.
How long you been doing this? what week am I?
Right? Let's see here.
I figured by now you have this down.
I know, man. I need to have like a checklist or something porque nombre se me olvida sometimes. But anyways, a shout out. It says from Michael Ibarra. It says, "What up, my dudes?" Michael.
What's
Ibarra.
up? What's up, Mike?
He filled in for you once or twice, right? When the Musicales came out this way.
Up in, don't get me lying, somewhere up north. I think in
Milwaukee,
Michigan, somewhere in Michigan. I don't even know where he filled in for me. I mean, but he did. He's filled in for me a couple times because of my work schedule. Mm-hmm. So,
as a matter of fact, I think we'll be having Michael on next month. We're still kind of working out all the details of all the different interviews that we're doing, but yeah, we'll have him on here. James Barella from West Texas says, "What's up?" So shout out going out to James.
What's up, James?
So you moved to West Texas, or you said, how did you say that? It's really not West Texas, or what?
Well, it depends on who you ask, because people from West Texas say Abilene is not West Texas, but we're like in the center of Texas, and so we're considered center Texas. I don't know. I mean, I say it's West Texas. That's not West Texas. What? I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they consider. Hey, am I falling here? I think I am. Hold on. There we go.
No, hombre, puro technical difficulties today.
No, I know. What's going on here today?
Oh, man.
You not broadcasting? My stands here falling?
Why couldn't the
camera go on a minute? I mean,
why didn't the camera fall when we weren't on the air, right? It's exactly like we're live.
So, but yeah, no, West Texas. So, yeah, I was raised in Abilene. So Abilene, nothing to do. Everything shuts down about midnight. If you're out, when I go back, and it's still the same, man. Abilene is still the same. It's grown a little, but at midnight, all the lights start blinking. So, it's like a small town, and it's really a Christian town, is what they call it, church town. Mm-hmm. Every corner has a church. And so I just know that I went to go visit my mom maybe in the middle of last year sometime. And not that I don't talk to my mom, because I do talk to my mom. Hey, Mom. Hi. But I know that they finally, after all these years, they never wanted a Hooters. The I guess city said no. Finally, they have a Hooters in Abilene. I'm like, wow, hey, it's finally. I guess the older people are finally going out, and the newer people are coming in, and but yeah, exciting. That's where I grew up. Exciting little town of Abilene.
And then, how did you kind of get from the small town of Abilene to playing with Los Musicales? I know there had to have been a long sort of path.
Yeah,
to get
so
there.
I mean, I took off on the road when I was about 15, 16, I think, maybe 16. I actually took off with Alex Montes. I was with Alex Montes for a good maybe, and it just didn't work out. I was young. I really didn't know too much, and ended up back in Abilene. So after that, I started playing with Carlos Miranda.
Oh, right on.
And yeah, so I was playing with him for a little while, and his son, Carlitos Miranda, his dad started telling me about that he wanted to start his band, and sure enough, so when I would go down there to go play with Carlos Miranda Sr., I was practicing with Carlos Miranda Jr., mm-hmm. and we ended up starting a band, and the next thing I know, I'm in Seguin, Texas, and down there, and we get picked up by A.B. Quintanilla, and he comes down to Seguin and says, hey, I'd like to do an album with you guys, this, and that, and one thing led to another. The album never came out. I don't know what happened. All I know is that I was asked to join Selena's road crew. They're like, hey, man, if you want, Pete Alspudillo's going to go on his own in a year or so, and if you want, we'll move you over there. Just come on as a roadie for now, and we'll go from there. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. 3 years later, yeah, there I am busting my ass, setting up, tearing down, God damn it, son, so going through all of that was, don't get me wrong, it was fun. That was, I guess, I was only, 17, 18 years old at the time, man, and traveling with Selena for 3 years, man, it was amazing, so, and a kid making money at that time, I was like, well, what do I spend my money on? I was staying with everybody, the rest of the road crew here and there, and we'd just take off, and, but no, I had a blast, man, going to Mexico, traveling Florida, New York, Chicago, you name it, I traveled everywhere with Selena. Mm-hmm. So 3 years later, Pete, AB and Pete, I guess, decided for him it was time for him to go on his own, and so I took off with them, and I was there for a good 6 years, man. 6 years with Pete, and then, I don't really remember how. I just remember a friend. Well, when I was with Pete, we had the other keyboard player that was with Pete was actually Mike Herrera, and he took off with David Lee before I did.
Right.
So he was the keyboard player there for 5, 6 years. I don't remember how long he was there, but yeah, he was there for a good while. He plays actually now. He's with Marcos. He's playing with Marcos there.
Right.
So after that, I don't know. I went to go check him out one day, and I talked to Joey Rodriguez and Papa Tony, and they had offered me the job. And at first I was like, I'm okay where I'm at, And then so later on, I guess during the week, I think Joey had called me and said, hey man, have you decided? And I asked him, hey, you know what? Send me your schedule. Let me see what it looks like. And one thing led to another, and 21 years later, here I am,
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
A couple more shout outs. Johnny Vasquez, well, this is Juan Vasquez, but I know Johnny. It says, hello, Rolando and Danny. He's the band director and leader for Tejano Sound Band up in Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, cool.
Also, Raul Nano Fuentes says, are you happy you don't have to carry 50 keyboards anymore?
Yeah, actually I am. So I just show up and walk on stage and walk off the stage now. So yeah, no, it's nice, but still, then when you see a little button missing from your keyboard, like, what happened? I don't know. That's the way it was. What do you mean? That's not the way I bought it.
Yeah, we all have stories like that. As a matter of fact, one of the conversations that we had a few weeks back when David De La Garza from La Mafia was on, we were talking about road cases and which road cases he prefers, because when you're flying and stuff like that, stuff gets bumped around and stuff. We just got a shout out right there. Matt Maya says, hi guys, LOL. How's it going, Matt?
Matty! I can't see what Matt's saying, but don't do it, Matt.
I'll tell you what he says. Robert Reynosa says, ¿Qué pasó, Danny?
Hey, Rob! Big Rob, Big Rob.
So
I have that dude in my phone as Rod. And Roderick. So every time he calls me, it's Rod. Oh, Rod's calling me, but his name is Robert. But for some reason, when I first met the dude, I thought his name was Rod, as in Roderick, and I put him in as Rod, and I don't know why. And I have him as Rod/Rob. So yeah.
Let me hijack the interview for a second to tell you a little story. It's pretty funny, actually. Speaking of Johnny Vasquez, so I played with the Tejano Sound Band for 11 years. And my first gig with them was actually because their keyboard player at the time couldn't make a gig. So I just kind of went in as a fill-in, and he ended up moving to bass. It doesn't matter. So I was there, right? And there was two guys in the road crew. Shout out going out to Boo Fernandez, a.k.a. James Belser, and Jaime Cabello. So Jaime is Johnny's brother-in-law and always hung out with them, and it was always around, right? And so Boo was trying to get my attention, and he felt bad not knowing my name because I was like, the new guy, So he tells Jaime, he goes, hey, Jaime. He goes, ¿Qué pasó, Boo? He goes, what's the guy's name? The new guy. He goes, I think his name's Martin. So Boo's across the room screaming. He's like, Martin! Martin! And I'm just over here wrapping cables, and then finally he comes up and he taps on my shoulder. He's like, Martin! He goes, hey, I can't get a signal on your keyboard or whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm like, my name's not Martin. He goes, I was wondering why. And he turned around and he was all mad at Jaime because I was like, Jaime was like, well, how was I supposed to know? I don't know what his name is. But anyways, so Rod, I feel your pain. I mean, Robert, I feel your pain. Anyways. So
actually, that just happened to me. Actually, a couple before all this COVID-19, that happened to me, man, in Brownsville. I don't know what the name was. The guy kept on calling me, but that wasn't my name. And he kept on whatever the name was. I don't remember Philip but he kept on saying it. I'm like thinking, who's this dude talking to? And he's looking right at me, and I'm thinking, me? Yeah, that's not my name. I'm Danny. Oh. You're Danny from Musicales. Yeah, duh. But he kept on yelling this name at me, and I'm like, that's not me. So yeah, I know how that feels. I'm like, okay, well, 21 years and somebody still doesn't know my name. Like, damn.
Hey, don't feel bad. One more quick story. So I finally, not finally, back in the day, I got to see one of my keyboard heroes. I got to see Jerry De La Rosa, and when Jay would come up to Michigan, it wasn't that often back in the day, right? So I was like in high school, and I was all excited, and I got to speak to Jerry, and we're sitting there, and somebody in the band's like, hey Jerry, he goes, some guy out here is asking for Steve. For Steve. He goes, oh, I know who that guy is. He goes, he always gets me confused with Steve Rat Silvas that plays with Little Joe.
Yeah, with Little Joe.
So he wanted to talk to Jerry, but kept like, hey, tell Steve that I want to talk to him. So, man, Jerry De La Rosa, rest in peace.
I want to talk to him. Jerry was something else, man. That dude was a clown and a half, man.
I know, he was super cool. I got to meet him once.
Super cool, man. Super cool guy, man.
Yeah. We got some more shout outs here. It says, hope to see you in the Poteet Posse in Austin as soon as this mess is over. And that's from Juan Lira?
Lira, yes. I know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully soon, Juan.
And also, Chris Rodriguez from Tejano Highway 281 is in the house.
Yo, Chris, what up? Chris, what up? So he was your first interview, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, man. It was cool. Chris and I go way back, and yeah, for those of you who want to see these interviews, you guys can go back on YouTube and watch them over again. This one will start 10 minutes late. I don't know. Because
y'all will miss a whole 10-minute section that I spoke about things.
But I think I did like a B. I did like a B plus B minus job of like paraphrasing everything that you said,
no,
right?
You did. I don't know about B plus B. I'll go more with the C minus.
Okay, C minus. Hey, it's passing, right?
10 minutes.
It's passing. It says, okay, I have a question for Danny. Where do you get those awesome glasses? And that's from Chris Rodriguez.
Actually, I don't know. I've had them for so long that I know they used to be Ray-Bans. I used to have a little sign that said Ray-Ban here, but I've had them for so long that they've fallen off. I usually wear contacts, but today at the job that we're at today, I ended up getting some kind of particle or something, and man, I was just rubbing, and I said, you know what? The good thing I brought my glasses because I can put them on, and here they are. Yeah.
I think what he's really trying to ask is which pulga you got them from. No, I'm just kidding.
The Texas Flea Market.
The Texas Flea Market. There you go.
My Poteet.
And so you've been on the road for 21 years with Los Musicales. How has your setup changed over the years? Are you still using kind of the same thing you've used since?
No, actually, I've within the past, I'll say about a year maybe, I've gone more into the controllers. I carry two. I don't know if you've seen my new setup. It's just two Arturias, the 61 and the 88, and a laptop and everything. So for me, with Musicales, we use the same sounds. They've been using the same sounds since even before I joined the band. You know, the O1W sounds,
right,
and that's the analog strings. You know, the Dino Roads, or, you know, whatever it is on that O1W. So I said, you know what? And it's hard now to find someone to repair these old keyboards and to find parts for them because it's almost impossible, you know. So I said, you know what? There has to be another way, man. So I started doing research and the thing is, what I didn't want, because of course there's a lot of controllers out there, man, and I think you have on your one from Facebook, your Tejano keyboard, the Impulse, is that what it is?
Yep.
Well, my son has that one because I didn't like the action on it.
You did?
So my son has all my keyboards and I didn't like the actions on. So that was. You go to my son's room. He has a keyboard here. He has a keyboard there, and they're all controllers, but it's just something I didn't like. I didn't like the way they felt. And I was like, no. Eventually, I'm going to find something that I like. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, man, I ran into this company called Arturia, and it feels. I mean, because most of the controllers nowadays are plastic.
Yep.
You know, it's more of a plastic feel, and so the feel on the keys they don't feel like a real keyboard. They give you this it's like a little Casio type feel. Even Casios sometimes feel a little bit better than some of these controllers, man. And so I finally found Arturia, and Arturia, it feels like, you know, it feels natural. It's of course the 88 key is weighted, so that was something different for my little baby arms here. Like, oh my God, I got to play a little harder. Like, what? So, you know, for about a month or two, I'm like, holy crap. You know, my arms were hurting. I'm thinking, what the hell? But of course, you know, it's a whole different feel, man, you know, and to actually try to play smooth or play a little harder, it's like, it's not just hit and go, you know. It's like, okay, I got to play a little harder with this sound. Of course, you can play with the adjustments, but it's like, nah, you know, so I try to figure all that out. And but I actually like my setup now. Now, if you were to ask our sound guy, JD, mm-hmm. he would probably differ with me because he said, no, man. He goes, your volumes are. I said, no, my volumes. I make sure all my volumes are matched, and you know, I look at my little board and make sure that, you know, everything on the actual computer, you know, is showing the same output. So I said, now that falls on you. And of course, we go back and forth about, no, well, your sounds on the old keyboards were loud. Well, I can raise the sounds up on the thing on the output. It's not a big deal. Well, you know. So, but we're back and forth there. But I have any sound that you can think of, man. I mean, I heard y'all talking about you and Mario about the popcorn from the Sonic.
Mm-hmm. The pop.
I have the Sonic. I have the D50. I have the O1W. Any keyboard that you can think of, man. I have a rack for it, you know, but I use the same ones. I use you know, the O1W rack. I use what else am I using on there? I don't think I'm using anything for D50. But everything else, you know, it's more of the modern stuff of the racks that come out, and I do have the dyno as well, and I have that mixed in with more of a piano sound also. It just depends on what song we're doing and what sound I really want to use.
Now, when you say racks, are you talking about VST plugins or actual hardware racks?
No. It's VST plugins. Yeah, plugins for. I use Reasons Live.
Okay, Reason Live.
Yeah, so I had, and it was Reasons was easier for me to. It's a whole rack. So, and then you flip the rack around. Of course, you have all your ins and outs, and you know, you can do whatever you want, and it just made it a lot easier since, you know, trying to figure that out versus trying to use something else that I wouldn't know how to use. And I've used Reasons for quite a few years already, you know, even with the studio stuff that I've done with Dave, you know, a lot of the stuff is done on Reasons, and I'll go dump with Gilbert, and you know, that's basically how I do a lot of my stuff also. Mm-hmm. So.
Now, so when you're getting all those sounds within Reason, are they actual, like the third-party plugins within Reason, or does Reason have like its own library of sounds to get like the O1W and the D50, or are you sampling that from your old keyboards? No.
They actually have the racks already. So what I do is, yeah, man, it's really super cool, man. So they have racks already in you can go to their, I guess, to their rack stores, what they call, I think it is, mm-hmm. And they have, if not third party has them also. A lot of third parties have these plugins, man, or these VSTs, and so what I go in there and I do is, so basically I try to mimic whatever my sounds are on my actual keyboards, and they're already saved on. I'll just save them to my computer. It just makes my life a lot easier, man. So now My only problem is if for some reason that laptop goes down, I don't have a backup right now. And the guys have been telling, hey, so what happened? Yes, I know, I get it. Yes. So knock on wood so far it's sitting at home. My backpack with my laptop sitting at home looking real pretty in my room. So, I haven't even turned it on since we haven't been performing. So hopefully, I should. My keyboards are down in Poteet, so I haven't gone to get those. I mean, so again, I've been so busy with work that I haven't had time to even. So the only music I get in my life right now is actually my son. He just turned 17 a couple weeks ago. So that's the only music I get to and compete with right now is my son. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Let's dive into that. But before we do that, got another shout out from John Cruz. It says, Danny, you made it.
Who? From who?
John Cruz.
John Cruz?
Yeah.
He's on there? Oh, he's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
My God, it's gonna rain. Hey, John.
Is that?
I didn't think John had any social media at all. Wow. Okay.
And that's your guys' guitarist, right?
Yes, that's John Cruz, the guitar player.
All right, on. Oh, Emmanuel J says, "What happens when your laptop goes down and then it has the eyes like?"
That's it. That means. Emmanuel, you got this? Emma J, you got it on the other side of the stage? All right, cool.
Pass me some maracas.
So he's had to. I know that we did something in San Antonio, and just the night before we were in Monterrey, I think, and everything was working fine. We get back to the United States and we come back to San Antonio, and none of my stuff is working. I'm thinking, how can it work in Mexico, no problems, but then I come back into the United States and it's not working? And everybody's just looking at it. Well, the Roker's looking at each other. That's your stuff. Oh, yeah. I said, maybe I should bring the guys from Mexico to come hook up my stuff over here. Sorry, JD. Sorry, big time. Shout out to those guys, man.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen them in a while.
So there's obviously like a whole trade-off sometimes about having the technology to be able to do stuff that you can't really do with a hardware-based keyboard, right? But
Correct.
Also that trade-off sometimes comes with but in reality, I mean, it could be anything. You could have a keyboard that goes out in the middle of a show, like a regular hardware keyboard, and you're still really in the same position. Nowadays, I feel like, and maybe you can speak to this a little bit, and then we'll talk about your son a little bit. But I think the laptops are getting to be more reliable these days. Especially if you.
I think so, man. I really do think nowadays technology has come so. I mean, it's evolved so much, man. That I think laptops, and I've been a computer geek. So long already, man, that, I try to stay on top of, whatever comes out new. And it's like my son's PC went out, I say about a month ago maybe, and he's been without his PC for a while, and he's like, Dad, just buy me a new laptop. Oh yeah, son, let me go out there and just go get you one right now. I mean, real quick. But the thing is, his computer, so he uses what's called Fruity Loops for his music, and he has a nice little setup, man, and I told him, it's like, look, the difference between a laptop and a PC, yeah, it's mobile, but yet I think a PC, home PC, or what he has is it's a Dell Studio, whatever it is, but the RAM, you can put more RAM in it versus a laptop. But nowadays, the newer ones like mine, I have an HP. Everybody always says, how come you don't use Apple? Well, because HP is a little cheaper, and I think it's sturdy enough. I mean, I'm more of a PC guy than a Mac. I do have a Mac, but I don't use it for music. It's more for work. But and my PC is more. I mean, I've always used PC. Well, except when I was with Pete and we were recording in the studio with Ricky Vela. Ricky Vela was all Mac. Everything was Mac. When back then was Apple. I think it was just Apple. But it's it's evolved, I think, man. And I personally, my laptop, I think, has, if I remember right, 16 gigs of RAM or 18 gigs of RAM.
Oh yeah,
and it's an i7. You know, and it's also an Envy, so it flips. It turns into a tablet. So what I ended up doing is that, and the only reason I went with this because I didn't want something sitting in front of me with the keyboard and everything, because I don't need it. Everything's controlled on my keyboards, on my controllers. So all my sound changes, everything's on the actual keyboards. So I just needed that for the brain, you know. So it flips and it just the keyboard goes down and it's just like a tablet sitting in front of me now. And I actually like it, man. It's a lot. But now, if it does go down or power goes off, I forget to plug it in and the battery dies, then yeah, it's a pain in the ass because I have to sit there and wait until it turns back on and boots, and I'm sitting there watching the guys play. Yeah, y'all sound great out there. Yeah, keep on going, guys. But
polka time.
It takes a while versus an actual keyboard. You can just turn it on and boom, sound. Okay, we're ready to go. You know, so it's a difference, but. So I kind of have to stay on top of my game a little bit there to make sure that everything's working.
So what do you do to get your sound out of your laptop? Are you using an interface or are you just...
I am.
Okay.
I'm using an audio interface. Now, don't ask me what it is because I can't remember. I bought everything online and set it up and put it in a little small rack mount. And
is it like a little 2-channel one or is it like a multi-channel one?
No, the one that I have, which is the one I went out and ended up spending a little bit more than I needed, but it's just in case because I have the audio interface is what was it? Hold on, let me try to remember. 8 in, 8 out, or 8 in and 16 out. But then I run that into a DI, rack mount DI, which I don't have to. I can just run from there straight to. But I wanted to run into a DI and Behringer. I'm running into a Behringer DI, and just that gives me more control on, you know, cutting my 20 dB or the ground on it, you know. Versus it gives me more control of everything still versus trying to. Now, if something goes wrong, the guys in the crew just. What's wrong with it? Is it the line? Oh, I don't know. Hold on. Let me try to. So I got to still kind of figure it out because they're like, nope. So I'll try to give them my laptop. Here, go play. Nope, that's you. Because if it's something, of course, if it doesn't turn on or something, it's on them, you know. So they're like, nope. So I have to still set up my own laptop. It's hard work.
And the good thing about it though is having it with all those different outputs is that you can actually as if you were using 4 or 5 different keyboards, you can say, okay, my piano sounds are on channel 1, my strings are on 2, my leads are on 3, etc., whatever. And
that's exactly what I do. Yeah, so I've always had 3 keyboards, always, one for my leads, one for my pianos, and one for strings, organs, whatever else I use, you know. I've always had 3 lines, and I still have, it's only 2 keyboards now, but I have my 88 key split in half, which it still gives me 3 lines going out, and it's still, the only difference is I don't play like this, it's just all right here now in front of me, you know, so it's easier, but it doesn't look as cool.
You're not doing Yanni at the Acropolis?
Yeah. I'm not a little... I'm not the Brando with the foot up in the air. And, no. Trying to play the 5th keyboard over there. No. It's just 2 keyboards now, and here and there, I'm done. Cool, you know. So hey, but it's because shoulders are getting bad. You know, getting older, man. You know.
Yeah, but hey, your shoulder hurts. But that was a nice kick you did there. And for those of you who are wondering if he's wearing pants or not, he's not. He's wearing shorts.
Hey, I said the shoulder, not the hips. The hips are still good.
We got a couple more shout outs here. It's from Sakari Ochoa. It says, hola, Tío Danny. And also,
that's my niece. Yes, that's my niece.
It goes without saying, right, Tío Danny? And then
Tío Danny. Yeah.
Elias Ochoa. It says, love you, bro.
That's my brother-in-law.
Proud of you. Puro autograph status. Also, shout out going out to Random Blind Guy who's been faithfully joining us every week. He says, what's up, everybody? Yeah, thank you for joining us. But yeah, so the MIDI controller thing, and it seems to be working pretty good. How long have you been using that MIDI setup?
I think a little bit over a year, man. To be honest with you, I can't even remember when I actually started using it, but I think it's been over a year already. I might be going on maybe a year and a half, maybe two, whenever we start up again. And by the time we start up, it'll probably be about 3 years. So, I don't know when we're gonna start up again. So that's all this COVID-19 or Corona, whatever you want to call it, but and then not Corona the beer. So
Yep. Well, it seems like you've had time to actually try this stuff on the road, which is good because like there's some people who are maybe thinking about going the MIDI controller route, but maybe aren't necessarily brave enough to try it. You know what I mean? But you heard it right here.
No, yeah.
Among a few other.
Like I said, yeah, I've been like let's just say a year and a half or close to 2 years already, and it's gone into Mexico with me. It's gone up north with me. It's gone everywhere we've gone for the past year and a half, 2 years. And it's worked fine with me. Every once in a while there'll be a little glitch here and there, but nothing that I can't figure out. Now you have to be at least some kind of computer savvy because if something does go out, at least you understand your settings. You understand what you're dealing with because it's not just it's not as easy as just plugging in a keyboard. You have your output, your sustain, and your power cord. Here, and honestly, I don't even have power cords for my keyboards. They're all powered by my laptop.
Yeah,
it's
they're
USB cable.
Yeah, hub powered off of the USB.
Right, yep, that's absolutely right. So so all I have is two cables going into my boards, and that's it. No power cable, no nothing. It's just straight to my laptop, and actually straight into my little case, So I have a little USB output in the front, sitting in the front that I just plug in. Because the guys won't. No, they do plug them in. Funny thing is, so when I first got my setup. Sorry, Joe, big time. I'm gonna throw you under the bus, dog. So I get my setup, and Joe, he's one of our road crew, and so he started hooking it up, man. And for some reason, my output or my input for my keyboards, my USB cable, so if you're looking at let me grab this one right here, a USB cable like this, and there's only one way to plug these in. So he kept on telling me, "Oh, hey man, your USB, they don't work. They don't work." I said, "What do you mean? They're broken." What? So sure enough, I noticed there was 4 inputs on there for my USBs to plug in my 2 keyboards, and I remember Rob was there too, and I said, "How does somebody plug in a USB cable backwards?" So he was plugging them in backwards, and so the little point that sticks into this part, he had broken the little tabs that go in here. So I had to buy a steel one, a little metal. Hey, no, and then I had to put top, bottom, make sure, and then on the cables also top and bottom. So I guess again, if you're not too computer savvy, don't try it because it does get a little complicated. It gets a little confusing. But if you are a little computer savvy, it's not hard. You understand USB cables. Not everybody understands the simplicity of USB cables, So that was. Sorry, Joe. I had to. I thought that was funny. I had to buy new USB cables, a new USB hub. But it's all right. It was cheap, It's not a big deal.
Robert Reynosa is laughing at us. So
yeah,
I don't know if he's laughing at me or if he's laughing at the road crew.
No, he's laughing at the story because he was there in Austin when we were discussing it. Like, dude, how do you fucking... So yeah, no, he knows what I'm talking about.
And you know what? Michael was talking about he's still using the DX7 and the Roland Juno 1. I think that's a lie, but I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's using that. Says we're all talking German over here. So to kind of take a quick pause from the interview, if you guys are interested in maybe some tutorials on how to set up VSTs or a laptop and a MIDI controller for live use, these are things we can talk about. That's what this whole channel is about. Not just about music theory, not just about learning chords. It's everything related to Tejano Key. We are bringing on these people to interview, these musicians that have been on the road, trying these things out that have done it, not trying it, but they're actually doing it,
Using it, yeah.
they're actually using it and implementing it, on a weekly basis. Well, I mean, not right now, but but I guess even now is probably the best time to try those things out, because if you're not doing anything and you're just working at home or whatever, try to work out the bugs, and then next time, the clubs open up and everybody will have new setups and whatnot. Yeah. So
it's a good time, right? Because I can easily say it wasn't from one day that I decided I wanted to use it to the next day where I was using it. No, it took me a nice little while to set it up, man. You have to sit there and play with your settings and play with your outputs and play with, whatever you want to play with on there, the sounds, make sure, because, when you have in a studio, say for example, there at my house, I have some studio reference little monitors, but I was using a floor wedge, that's, it sounds different, man. Anything you plug in, so if I would use it on my headphones, and I would, okay, yeah, these sounds are cool, but then when I put it on my studio reference monitors, it sounded different. If I put it on the monitor on the ground, it sounded different. So I had to try to figure out how to make it all sound kind of equal from the headphones to the studio reference monitors to the monitor on the floor, So I did, and it took me a little while to try to get it all going right, and finally I'm okay where I'm at now, Now, could I still tweak it? Yes, more than likely, but you get to a point where that's good enough.
It's kind of like one of those things where you kind of have to kind of aim for the best place possible. It's kind of like, like the analogy of like when you're standing there and you're getting your picture taken, but there's like a bunch of cameras. You're like, which camera do I look at? Well, just pick somewhere in the middle between all the cameras.
In the middle, that's right.
And just kind of smile and hopefully it'll look like you're straight. But in reality, it's kind of like the same thing, right? Like you're never going to get it to sound the same in headphones, speakers, and the wedge. But if you can get it to sound decent on all three,
yes,
kind of aiming somewhere in the middle, I think you're going to be all right.
Yeah. And I think the last album that we did, so however long ago that was, I had not the actual new controller keyboards, but I used a lot of the sounds. I didn't even take keyboards in. I just took my laptop in and MIDI'd it through Gilbert's, keyboards that he had there, and that's what I ended up using for the sounds. So basically, the sounds that I'm using is off the last recording or whatever, so it still sounds the same, Mm-hmm. And the time before that, I think I was using it still for the studio versus taking in keyboards. It's easier just take a laptop and a backpack, and instead of carrying keyboards in, and just MIDI into keyboards that he has there already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, and with the laptop, I think it's convenient too, like you're saying, it's less things to take. I mean, if you're taking 2 keyboards, that's fine, but you have a whole rack full of stuff in a laptop, in the space of a laptop, as opposed to the weight of 4 keyboards or more, and then stands and the logistics of moving all of that stuff. I mean, it cuts down a lot, I think, on costs of, I mean, it seems minuscule at first, but like even gas, the road crews huesitos, their bones,
No, yeah. JD's about 100 years old now, so I'm sorry, JD. Okay, not 100, maybe 68, 108. I don't know what the hell he is, but so he's somewhere around there. He's been in the business so long that. So there's a joke that I have with him actually that I always tell him. Sorry, JD, I'm gonna throw you also into the bus here right now, but so every time people ask, how old are you, JD? I said, oh, let me answer that question. So I tell people that he's so old that he has an official autographed Bible by Jesus himself.
That's funny.
So he always calls me, oh, sí, culero.
That's funny. Hey, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you a little bit about like you actually performing with Los Musicales. Like, I mean, the repertoire is so vast. I mean, you're talking about 3-4 decades of material. Like, do you have to like remember all of those tunes, or is there like?
Yes. I'm not even gonna lie. Yes.
Like, when they call out a song, you gotta go for it.
I mean, so what we do is, well, Dave or I or someone will come up with a new song list, and hey, this is what we're gonna go with. All right, cool. But Dave or someone, no, it's usually Dave. Dave or Caesar nowadays, they'll and it's mostly Dave because he knows all his songs from, hey, let's do this one. Holy crap. We haven't done that like in 10 years, dude. Really? That's all right, bro. Dave's favorite words, we're all professionals here. Let's do it. So, yeah, I mean, you have to kind of remember, man, a lot of these older songs, and then sometimes we won't do them in forever, and then we'll be sitting there like, okay, we know how it goes. What key is it in? It's in this key. And John is famous for that. No, it's in this key. No, John, it's in this key. No, it's in this key. No, John, that's the key he's going to go into, but it's just, believe me. And now that John's on my side, so, and it's cool to have John on my side now because sometimes I'll draw a blank, man. Like, I know the song. Now, John, what key? Just this key. And so far, he's been, I'll go with 80% right sometimes. And no, John, it's not in that key. Yeah, it is. And he'd have to look down at his guitar. Oh, no, it's in this key. Yeah, fucking, we're almost halfway through the song, John. Thanks.
Yeah, and not only that, but like some of the songs from Los Musicales, because, well, David playing a chromatic accordion, keys are irrelevant to him, right? It's just from here to there, yeah, we switch keys, right? If they say Grito Prisionero or something like that, something in F sharp or something like that, you're just like,
yeah, that one's a little tricky one. But I like that song, so I can remember that one because I really do like that song, Grito Prisionero. So, but sometimes I little brain fart and that little part that I have in the middle is like da 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 da. Shit. So like, whoops. Hey, it's jazzed out now. Okay, people, I'll just go with it.
Matt Maya says, LMAO, it says, true story. I still tell that story to this day about JD. And
the Bible story.
And then
his autographed Bible.
Elias Ochoa says, that's old. And then
that is old, I'm telling you.
Michael,
and he's a little shorter than me, and he always gets I see two pinches Tim Duncan. I love picking on JD, man. It's just I guess I've known JD for quite a few years, man. Even before Musicales, he used to be with Emilio as a sound man or a monitor man. I don't remember which one. No, Ronnie used to be. Yeah, I think he was the sound man or something like that. And I was with Selena back then, so that's how long I've known JD. I've known him for and I always tell him, man, I remember when you used to be with Emilio, you were an ass, dude. No, not me. Shit. And I said, you were a culero, dude, for real, man. I don't know why, but God, man, just to talk to you. But he's, well, no, nothing. Never mind. I'm walking away right now. So, but he's calmed down a lot now. He's calmed down, since he's older now. Again, 108, 100 and whatever it is, So he's calmed down. The older you get, the more you calm down.
Yeah. You have less stuff to worry about. You're eligible for Medicare and just.
No, it's good to go eat with him too, because. Senior citizen discount, dude.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to put anybody... Well, you know what? I don't care. I'll mention him. So, while I was on the road with Tejano Sound years back, and Boo, the same guy who was calling me Martin, we went to a truck stop out in Saginaw, right off of the expressway. We were leaving a little sports bar there in Bridgeport, Michigan, and we were looking at the menu, and one of the guys in the band, he's a little bit older, and he's like, oh, look, they have a senior citizens menu. He's like, I'm going to order off of that. And Boo says, look, it's all stuff you don't have to chew. It was like mashed potatoes and scrambled eggs and coffee.
I'm going to make sure that...
So, anyways, listen, if you guys are senior citizens, I have so much love for y'all. I am not making fun of y'all. I'm just telling you a story.
No, I'm not either. I love you people. My mom's a senior citizen. Come on.
You have an AARP card waiting for you in a few years. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm right there. I mean, come on, I'm not too far behind. If like JD would say, I see, come like you're real far behind. Yeah, I am. I'm still about 50 years behind you, fool.
Okay, so going back to some of the shout-outs here, Michael said John saved him. I'm assuming that's from when he helped out when you couldn't make it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And also, Matt Maya says, Danny, when you left Pete to join DLG, did you feel nervous in any way, like the possibility of playing for larger crowds? Then I see some laughing faces, so I don't know if that's sarcastic or whatever, but
that he's being okay. So let me tell you the story about that. Now, Joey, if you watch this, I'm sorry, Joey. I got to throw you under the bus now. So,
hey, before you go on with your story, let me tell you this. I hope that we are never in a band together, because you're probably going to throw me under the bus, too. Continue with your story.
Hey, it's all good and funny stuff, though. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
It's not the bad stuff. It's the funny stuff. So, let me tell you the story on that one. So, when I joined David Lee, I remember we played, I think it was a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day in San Antonio. There was a place called Tejano, Texas. And again, I had just joined Musicales, so, in May. So just in January, that year that I joined Musicales, I was with Pete Studio. So I remember Joey going into the dressing room, and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, don't get scared." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because there's like 3,500 people out there." I said, "Joey, and so this is what Matt's talking about." So I was like, 3,500 people? I said, just 6 months ago, I played for 35,000 people in Monterrey, Mexico with Pete. And everybody looked at Joey like, ooh. So, that's, I wasn't, 3,500 people versus 35,000 people was a little different, that's a big difference. But there was a lot of people in Tejano, Texas, but again, in Mexico, it was an open venue, so it was just people galore everywhere, so that was the difference there. But that was Joey. I remember Joey coming in and telling me, "Don't get scared because there's 3,500 people out there." Ooh, I just played 35,000 people. So yeah, no, and that's Matt. That's what Matt. You're instigating, Matt. I just snapped.
It looks like your niece Sakari Ochoa says grandmother is going to hit you for calling her a senior citizen.
Yeah, if she's not watching, I know. I can already hear my mom when I talk to her. Really, mijo? Senior citizen? Oh, Mom, you are? I'm not lying. Am I lying?
It's not a derogatory term, right? They're a senior and they're a citizen.
Yeah, come on. I'm not saying she's an old hag. You see, now that's negative, right?
Why am I laughing at this? Okay. Why couldn't we have not hit the live button up to this point? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like, we've been talking for an hour.
That would have been an hour.
Yeah. Let me give you the book report version. So
you and I talking.
He went from Pete Studio to. No, I'm just kidding. It says Elias Ochoa says, "Dang, Danny, he goes, you just wait." You just like that rapper, or that Tekashi 69, snitching on everybody.
I'm throwing everybody under the bus right now. All right, I don't know when I'm going to see him again, so I'll deal with it from here to there.
Right, social distancing. You can't do anything about it.
There's nothing they can do about it right now.
And then,
so if for some reason you hear that I'm not in the band anymore, you know what happened.
Yeah, we're gonna send out an Amber Alert for Dan.
Yeah. You might want to do that if you don't hear from me or see me again. They actually got the bus and ran me over.
Chris Rodriguez says, those are the advantages of going to go eat with a musician or engineer from the Jurassic period. Gotcha, man. It says senior discount. AARP rewards card lunch
special.
Get that
straight. That didn't come out of my mouth.
It came out of my mouth, but I read it from Chris. So y'all forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't. Nombre Chris, te pasas de lanza, man.
Oh my God, that's a good one though. All right,
okay. Hey, like David says, we're professionals, right? We're professionals. Okay. Hey, mellow.
Right, we're back, people.
Mellow.
Hello. Oh, yeah.
Matt Maya says, Danny, between you and Michael Ibarra, you all taught me how to be an instigator. No, hombre. Everybody's throwing everybody under the bus. Interview over. Everybody's just going to talk smack about everybody. everybody else. No,
It's all right.
I'm just
I can
kidding.
handle it. Let's do this, people. We can start throwing everybody into the bus here.
Okay, so Grito Prisionero was one of those songs that you said that you like playing, right? What are some of the other,
Yes.
like, that when they call out the song and you're just like, man, I'm so happy we're playing this tune. Later on, we're about to go and order off the senior citizens menu. I'm just kidding. So, what are some of your favorite tunes to play with DLG?
Man, dude, I don't
like any of his music. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't like any of his music. I'm there. 21 years. I mean, no, honestly, no disrespect to any of the singers, because I get this question a lot. Also, is who's your favorite singer out of And I started out on the Jay bandwagon like everybody else did. I mean, Jay's awesome, great guy, great singer, man. But I kind of ventured off into Marcos because he was very unique. But anyways, to get back to the song, and the only reason I say, I bring up Jay Perez and Marcos is because we do Sonambulo. There's a song that's called Sonambulo, and
Emilio.
And yeah, Emilio. So, but if you, I mean, I don't know if, I know I have a copy of it, but of course, I mean, because I'm in the band, but there's a song that Sonambulo that we did one day somewhere in San Antonio, some festival or something, and when Jay shows up and he sings that song, and it's always been my favorite song, with David Lee, one of my favorite songs, and when he sang it, I'm just like, holy crap. It even made that song so much better to me, So, and no disrespect to the rest of the singers who sing this song, because Mark sang it great. Mark had his own unique style. Caesar, no, I'm just kidding, Caesar. Nothing but love, Caesar. Nothing but love. So no, and Caesar has his own also unique, sound. And that's what's good about being in this band is all these singers that have come through. That I came in when Marcos was here, so I got to, experience Marcos there for, I think it was close to about a year, and when he decided to go on his own, but yeah, and besides that, then of course the reunions with all the singers, or even with Emilio when Emilio was alive, everybody's unique, man, in their own way, man, and it's crazy. The one that I honestly freak out with is Oscar G, man.
Oh yeah.
So out of all the singers, that dude comes on and his voice is just so powerful, dude. I mean, I wasn't a big Oscar G fan, but when you hear him sing, versus everybody else on the same microphone or same volume, you're like this, hey, turn this dude, because I have ear monitors, I wear ear monitors, and you're like, hey, turn that dude down, like. Man, it's just extremely loud, and I freak out with that. But yeah, everybody. But to get back to the song, yeah, so Sonambulo is my favorite song, and especially when Jay sings it, man. So yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. And I think somebody just re-recorded it. Who was it?
Maldonado.
Texas Latino. Is that what
did
you
they?
said?
Oh yeah, they did it.
Yeah, they just re-recorded Sonambulo.
Have you heard the David Lee medley by Carlos Maldonado and Grupo Fuerte?
No, I haven't.
You should check it out, man. It's pretty good. They start off with a No puedo decir que eres tú. They do, and then they do the and they do that, and then they go into what's the last one?
I don't know. I haven't heard it. Tell me.
It'll come to me. It's a song in G. I remember because actually.
Oh, great!
Yeah, how many songs are in G, right?
Most of them. A lot of them are.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Me quieres tú y te quiero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Really?
those three songs. It's
Carlos
really,
Maldonado?
yeah, Carlos Maldonado, Grupo Fuerte from Houston. So
Yeah, from Houston. They're from here, from Houston. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to check that out. I haven't. How long did that come out?
like maybe 5 years ago. I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Where have I been?
Just go on YouTube. I mean, not right now because we're kind of doing.
No, hold on. Let me go to YouTube right now.
Yeah, we'll put this interview on pause.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Back in 10 minutes. Take a quick breather. Take a pee-pee break, and no, I'm just kidding. Hey, shout out also going out to Miguel Ortega from Stampede. I'm gonna be having him
what's up, Miguel?
later on this month. He says he's just tuning in. What up? What did he miss? Guess what? Everybody missed a lot.
Missed the first 10 minutes.
Go back and watch. Yeah, I forgot. Doesn't matter.
No. It's on you. It's on you.
It's on me. My bad. Chris Rodriguez says, I love JD though. I was referring to DLG.
Oh. Dave, I didn't say that, Dave. That's
Está
Chris.
bloody este vato.
That was the bloody de madre. No, that wasn't me, Dave. Let's get that straight. Let's get that out in the open right now. I didn't say anything about that.
Michael says he didn't know that this was going to be a roast, but like I said, whatever.
Hey, it's all good. It's funny.
I'm gonna change the description to this video from live interview to Comedy
roasting and
Central.
throwing people under the bus.
Yeah, Comedy Central presents
There you go.
the comedy roast de los musicales, no, hombre.
Let's reschedule.
Let's reschedule. And John Cruz says puro clavazo. Or puro clavos.
Puro clavazo. When I actually joined the band, we didn't even rehearse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're playing here this weekend. Okay, so no rehearsal. No, you got it. What the? Okay, here's the song list. Go. All right. So practice. That's the one thing that we hardly ever do, dude. It's very, very rare that we practice as a band. Now, if we show up somewhere early, okay, maybe like, hey, let's go over this one. Okay, but after about 10, 20 times and it doesn't sound right now, never mind. Let's skip that one. Let's go to something else. But yeah, man, it's very rare that we practice. I think I've seen Dave practice more on live Facebook Live than I've ever heard him practice.
Well, when you're doing it, on basis, the need for rehearsal is not as important because you're in regular practice. True. Right? But man, so do you think that after, and this is something we haven't really discussed, but with other interviewers, but I've been wondering it myself, are a lot of a lot of the bands you think are going to actually rehearsals? Because I mean, y'all haven't played for months, and then when it finally comes time to
actually get out there, and
get out rusty, Yeah. Do you guys?
Let's hope not.
Are you guys going to call any rehearsals? Do you think?
No. Hey. In the words of David Lee Garza, we're all professionals here. So, more than likely, we will not have a rehearsal. We'll just go out there and, yay, let's do this. So, and if it sounds a little rough, it's going to sound a little rough, then we'll get back into it,
Like riding a bike.
It's like riding a bike, we might fall a couple of times, but you just get back up and get on it and keep on pedaling.
Emmanuel J. says, I did a lot of practice on the bus. And also,
oh my God, dude, that was funny. That was something. We say David Lee has what do you call that? What's this? I'm drawing a blank here.
Explain it. Maybe
sleep apnea. We say that he has sleep apnea.
Oh, he does.
Oh, that's what we say because when Emmanuel, Dave wanted him to learn a polka. So Dave's back there showing him the polka. He's there with the accordion. Then you look back in the bus, and we're sitting in the front, and they say, "Look at Dave." Dave's like this. It literally looks like he's asleep, and Emmanuel's following him, and he's just like this. Dave. Dave. It's like we started saying, man, I guess he can play accordion in the sleep as well. You look at him back there in the back.
I think you're thinking of narcolepsy.
That's exactly what it is. That's what Dave might have, but he's not going to admit it.
So since everybody's getting thrown under the bus, I'll throw myself under the bus. I actually do suffer from sleep apnea, and I have to actually sleep with a mask at night because I stop breathing.
Too. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to. Yeah.
No.
My bad, Dave. Damn.
Hey,
It's all coming out.
Johnny Vasquez says, "Hey, are you guys done talking about the senior citizens?"
Hey, the good thing I'm not drinking, man.
I know. And no
My
puro
bad,
water,
guys.
right? And we were joking about this
no.
beforehand because I was saying, what kind of water do you like? Do you like Bud Light water or Miller Light water?
We were talking about this earlier before we were supposed to go on live the first
This was
time.
before the interview.
Before we were actually supposed to go on. Yeah, no, I'm on to the peach crown, man. And it's if you like the O-rings, the peach O-rings, have you ever tasted those? The little bags, the little
No.
O-rings? Oh, man, dude, that crown tastes just like that. And it's kind of scary because, like I told you earlier, after drinking 2 Yeti cups full, with ice, it's just going down, and I finally realized the bottle only had about that much left. I'm thinking, ooh. And I was thinking to myself, man, I feel drunk. But I'm only drinking, but of course it's Crown straight, nothing else but Crown, of course, and with ice, on the rocks, and holy crap. So by the time I get back on the road, I might be an alcoholic.
Hey, so let me ask you this, okay? Since I guess, you don't have no problem sharing personal information or whatever, right? Is there a drink policy with the band, like when you go on stage, like no drinking on stage or no drinking before, or is there anything like that?
It depends on what mood Joey and David are in. but it really varies. Now, here's what happens. If someone messes up or not messes up. Let me find a word here.
If it starts to affect their performance.
Yeah. There you go. If it's affecting your appearance, like Caesar. Just anybody in the band, not Caesar in general. We'll just use Caesar as an example. If Caesar, looks a little drunk and he's out there in the public, we all get scolded and penalized is what I say. Oh, we're getting penalized here because somebody messed up. Caesar, really? Dog, I wasn't even drunk. No, you're right. You weren't. Okay, all right. So yeah, so they'll tell us, hey man, no more drinking. And that'll last for about maybe a day, and then we're back to normal the next day. So we're all right. It'll last about a day or so. Hey. So it's thrown out there like, hey, let's just chill out on the drinking for a little bit. Let's calm it down. Which sometimes. Caesar does get out of hand. We get out of hand. Not Caesar. We as a band. We're one team, one sound, one band, one sound. So
puro drum line.
It's Caesar. Damn little alcoholic. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Also, Matt Maya says, Danny, bet you during all this quarantine, Emma still hasn't learned another polka. I don't know. And then, actually,
Emma,
wait a minute. I skipped one.
Can you please reply and let us know if you've learned another polka, because I want to prove Matt wrong, but please don't prove me wrong. But I think you have.
So I don't know. This seems like a lot of inside joke stuff happening. But Robert Reynosa said, it says you also do a lot of sleeping Emma.
What?
It says. You also do a lot of sleeping Emma. I think he's saying sleep apnea, or I don't know, maybe.
No. So Emma, which is Emmanuel J. That boy. That's why he called me Daniela earlier, because I call him Emma, or that's what they call him, is Emma. So Emma, he's Emma. I'm Daniela, and Caesar was what was it? Caesar's is Ceci. I think Ceci or something like that. Well, anyways, when we went up to Idaho and Washington, earlier this year, we basically had to grab a little mirror to make sure and put it underneath Emma to make sure he was still breathing, because literally he slept all the way up there and all the way back home. Like, is this dude even in here? Like, for real? Like, man, that boy can sleep. Let me just put it to you that way. That boy can sleep. If he has a bed, don't bother him. But he says he's not sleeping, so I don't know. Maybe that's why he still looks so young and handsome and cute, you know. And we're old and rugged and you know, wrinkling everywhere, you know. But I think he's only 23 years old, so that's a big difference, you know. I remember when I was 23, but I don't remember sleeping as much as that kid does, you know. He does sleep a lot.
You said, I remember being 23, almost like Will Ferrell said on Step Brothers. I remember my first beer. Oh man!
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of feels like.
And going along with that, the other joke is like, that's so funny. Last time I heard that, I fell off my dinosaur.
Yeah.
So I have to incorporate that one into your little bit there with
with
the guys.
That one in. Yeah, that sounds pretty good right there.
Man, it seems like you guys have a lot of fun on the road. And I think that's one of the things, too, that makes a band so tight. It's like not only just the fact that you're on the road and that you have to share the quarters of a bus with people, but the camaraderie, the brotherhood that comes together, and I think that it helps. It seems to me like, the musicales, like even from like an outside perspective, because I mean, I've only met you guys like a few times, you know what I mean? Like I'm not all up in there like how you guys are, right? But it seems like you all get along pretty well, and I think that that's one of the key issues to having the longevity of a band, you know what I mean? Because I mean, you hear these stories of bands that, the guys within the band don't get along or there's ego problems and stuff like that, and I think that that's if you want to see longevity, I mean, look at the musicales. The musicales have been around clearly for decades, and they've been successful for many, many years. And I think maybe a lot of that has to do with, the music aside, right? Because everything related to keyboard on this channel, right? But keyboards by themselves are nothing. You have to be able to put yourself into the context of a group. So when you put yourself into the context of a group, it's not just the music side of things. It's the professionalism that goes along with it. And I don't mean necessarily professionalism like, being punctual and all that other stuff that makes you professional, but also to be able to gel with the other musicians in order to make music, you know what I mean? Because in reality, if there's people within the band that don't get along and then there's tension, I mean, that's a recipe for failure, you know what I mean? And Los Musicales, obviously, from what you're telling me, seems like they really do have like a family sort of atmosphere. I mean, not family like kid friendly per se, but family like
not kid friendly. Yeah, that's not. Grown up friendly, maybe. Grown up friendly.
Brotherhood.
No. I mean,
brotherhood.
We all. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's like being with your brothers all the time. You're still. I mean, eventually here and there you're gonna get upset with each other, or you're gonna say something to one another.
Of course.
And it's a family, like you said. We're united. We stick together. Even though again. So I was one of the. Besides the singers, I take that back now. It's Emma J. But before Emma J came in, I was the last one to come in. And John was right before me. I think he was maybe a month or 2 months before I was. So, John's been in the band also 21 years. I've been in the band 21 years. And then, of course, it's the young kids now that are in the band, which is Caesar and Emma J. One's 23 and one's 27, I think it is. So, and then from there, 27, it jumps up to me, 46, or I'll be 46 this year. So, that's a nice little gap there, But yeah, but again, it's like family, man. I mean, even with Caesar coming in, you learn. I guess you learn to adjust to everybody's personalities is what it is. You know what to do and what not to say. What you kind of learn. And okay, this guy's gonna get mad if you do this, or upset if you say this, or you just learn to deal with people's different personalities, man. And that's how we get along. I mean. I can easily say I'm stubborn and hard-headed, and I was, even when I'm wrong, I'm right, and until you prove me wrong, I'm right, so.
Innocent until proven guilty.
And I'll sit there and argue with you. Even if I know I'm wrong, I'm still going to keep my no. So, but that's just the way I am. The guys know, no, just leave him alone because he's gonna win no matter what, even if I'm wrong.
That's funny, man. That's great. And Chris Rodriguez says, you know what? Talking about seniors with all the youngsters in the industry right now, I guess that would make us seniors. We're screwed. And then he says, Michael Ibarra and Danny. And then he says, you're lucky, Rolando, estás pollo. I'm not that young. I'm kind of like right between, like I'm technically a millennial, but I mean, not by much. I'm almost Gen X. No, I'm millennial. What millennials? 1980, right?
Yeah, I think so, right? I would say so.
I was born 83, so I'm.
80? I don't know if millennials would be 80s. Would they be 80s?
Yeah, millennials are, I think, from 80s to 90s, and then Gen Z is like the end of the 90s to like 2000s, and then I don't know. My son, I don't know what generation he is. He's only 2 years old. So
you're millennial.
Huh?
And I'm antique, I guess. I was just with antique.
Antique. Oil can.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for an hour and 25 minutes, but everybody's only seen an hour and 15 because.
Well, if you ask the people that've been watching for an hour and 15.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've been on for a good hour and 26 minutes now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, Danny, is there any other things that you want to you want to send shout outs to people? Do you want to keep talking? I don't know what else to talk. I mean, I know there's plenty to talk about.
Let's do this.
Huh?
Hold on. Let me just get a drink of water and we'll continue. I mean, let me see what else I can think about throwing. Let's see who else I can throw under the bus.
Man, you're going to get my channel banned. That's it. I'm canceling everybody else's interviews. We're not doing these anymore.
Come on now, man. I'm probably, it was less about music and more about the road and.
But that's great, man. And that's what I'm saying. Each one of these, and I say this every week, each one of these interviews is about something completely different. And this is the great thing about it. And you and all the other keyboard players that we've had and the keyboard players that will come all contribute to what this onda is all about, playing keys, but from a different perspective. And a musician, right, a keyboard player, for example, is not just somebody who plays keys. The personality that person brings to the table comes through the music. You can tell that person's personality through their playing, through whatever. And so these are great things to talk about, because I mean, other bands sometimes, maybe they need to aspire to have more of that camaraderie of making things gel together. And so I think this is great that we're talking about this. I'm telling you this is the most laughs I've had, I think, in all these interviews. And no disrespect to anybody else. I'm not saying that the interviews were boring there or anything.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Huh?
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great thing. That's what I'm talking about.
Relaxed. I'm chilled.
So let me say this: if your music career fails, if your medical supply thing fails, you could always do stand-up comedy.
Hey, I thought about that. But no, I'm good. By the time I get there, I'm gonna be JD's age, and that's not gonna be too good for me, I'm walking with a little walker, like, hey guys, how y'all doing today? I mean,
nombre.
Hunchback, and I'm not saying JD's hunchback. I'm just saying I'll be hunchback, and I'm good.
Yeah, man. So I mean, let me ask you this then, real quick. So it seems like you have a lot of really cool stories with David Lee. Prior to David Lee, do you have any cool stories? Was the camaraderie the same kind of like with other groups that you've traveled with, or is this kind of like the first time that you've experienced like this sort of brotherhood? Oh
no. With Tira Studio, it was, but I can't tell a lot of those stories. That's a whole different that's a whole different ball game there. I mean, with Pete, it was more. It was more about how you hear it in rock and roll. It was more about, yeah, you've heard what happens with rock and roll. That
Right.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. But it was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, with Pete. Now Pete wasn't involved with us a lot of the time, so it was a little different. Because he was the star, we were the band, and we just did whatever. We would go drink and hang out with people, and young, dumb, and whatever. We did a lot of stupid things, but I've matured since entering with David Lee. It's a whole different. With David Lee, it's more of a respect. Not that I didn't have respect for Pete, because I did. I love the dude. He'll still text me, and we'll still text, and we, even with the old band, we still have a group text chat that we'll go in there every once in a while and chat with each other, but we still talk. So, but with David Lee, when I joined with David Lee, it was a whole different onda. It was more of a more chill, more calm,
laid back.
Laid back, man. It was more laid back, which was, I guess, a good thing for me. I mean, it was time for me to grow up, because I think I came in the band when I was 25 years old. So, of course, that's been a good 21 years ago. So, and then before that, when I was in Selena, oh man, dude, with those cats, I was a road crew. So, all I can say is we were cagapalos. I mean, shout out to Trooper, shout out to Gilbert, Robert, Garcia, Jason. Man, dude, that was fun also. But again, it was like a brotherhood, And I remember a lot of the times when we go to Mexico, dude, and over there, we would go over there and set up early, man, and we would be there, let's say 8:00 in the morning. And Selena wouldn't perform until first set, 11 o'clock at night. Second set, 5 o'clock in the morning. You're like, what the hell? But, I can tell you, I remember a time that we played over there when I was with Selena back then, and we were setting up, and we were going to perform with Bronco. Bronco had their stage off to the right, and we had, we're next to each other, and we're setting up, and all of a sudden you hear like this big crash sound, dude, like, what the hell? And Trooper had his video camera, and he turned it on, and he was recording, and we happened to hear that noise, and we looked back, and Bronco had their whole stage, I mean, lighting, everything rigged, everything up, all that came crashing down on stage, dude.
Wow.
Everything was set up ready for Bronco to go. I mean, this was during the afternoon, and their whole, I don't know, the wind must have got it, or they put too much. I think what it was, it turned out that they put too much weight in the middle, and everything just collapsed. And it fell on the stage. You could see keyboards flying everywhere, and drums were scattered. I mean, it was just a big mess, right? So Trooper's there, he's there recording, and next thing you know, the guys from Bronco, they go over there, and they're trying to, we're there arguing with them because they're trying to take his camera away, like, hey, give me a camera. No, this is my camera. Hey, this is, you can't come over here and taking, and so, I don't remember if they ended up taking it or not, but I know that he had it on film. I don't know if he still has it, or if they ended up taking the actual video, man, and, but man, that was something, interesting to see, like, wow, I mean, huge setup, man. You're talking about Bronco back in the 90s, man. They were huge. Their setups were, huge. So that was an experience there. And then I do remember when we were younger. Again, when I was with Selena, I think I was 18, 19, or maybe a little 17, 18, something like that, man. And I remember when we had to wait for Selena to go on, so there, the crowd is just, massive, man. All you see is a bunch of heads. So what Trooper and I used to do, so if somebody's listening and you got hit in Mexico, it was an accident, we were having fun. So what we would do is grab these the money, Mexico money, the little cent, 1 peso, 1 little cent peso.
Yeah.
And we would stand behind the stage, and we would get that little cent and throw it into the crowd. Just to see who we would hit. Nope, you didn't hit nobody. Throw it again. Oh, right there, we just see. I see it right there in the middle.
Hey,
You see him like this, looking up in the air, like, where'd that come from?
hey,
So, I mean, we've done some stuff that, it's like, but it was fun back then, again, we were kids.
Hey, who played
kids
you?
do dumb things.
Who played you in the movie?
What?
I said, who played you in the movie?
The rat. The rat that ran across.
No, I'm just kidding. Man.
Yeah. But no, man, I've had an interesting life, man, and it's come to now where we were talking about this earlier about my son, 17 years old. Well, he just turned 17 2 weeks ago, and he's at the point, just in case you didn't know. So let me give you a little bit more background on how I actually learned how to play keyboards. It's everything I do, man, is everything I've done and learned is actually by ear, man. I've never taken classes. I've never learned the correct way to play. I've never studied music. And I've made it this far, thank God. I'm blessed to be in the band that I'm in for 21 years and to have a music career that has been almost 30 years, So, and for not knowing, say for example, I go into the studio and especially when recording with Gilbert or even with John, when John tells me, hey, it's whatever chord with flat 5, whatever, or 11 to the 13th, it's a 13th or 11 or whatever, and to me, I'm just like, dude, play me the chord. Let me see what you got. And, okay. He'll play it to me. Okay, I got it. Let's do this. That's the chord. Okay, I got it. Okay. So, so now my son, which is, he's been in band since 6th grade. He's about to be a senior this year. And so he's been in band. So he's taken high school band. He's taking, I think he was, I don't know if he still is, but I know he was in jazz band, and he's taking music theory. And so it's funny because he tells his mom, I'm better than dad already. Son, come on, son. And it's like I told you earlier. I tell him, back there, look, that room right back there. What, dad? When you get those gold albums, platinum albums, and the Grammy nominations and, all these awards, then by all means, son. Even though, a lot of the times it's like, people will ask me, so y'all been nominated for the Grammys? Yeah. Ask me where my medals are at, dude. I have no earthly idea. My platinum albums, my gold albums, ask me where those are at. They're sitting on a desk right now, upside down or whatever. It's like I told myself, it's more about the experience of living it than actually having something to show for it. Because at the end of the day, it's just, and he loves more R&B and hip hop, which, he's actually getting me into that music. A lot of the music that he does listen to, I'm starting to listen to now, and it's very interesting. It's different, and he's always telling me, Dad, that rap music y'all used to listen to, that was music? Yes, and that was our music at our time, So don't put it down, because eventually when you get my age, your rap music or your hip hop, your R&B, but it's going to sound different, 40 years down the line too, son, so... But I remember one day we went to go eat at Chili's. And, of course, you're always going to be dad. You're just dad. You're nothing, Dad's just dad, So we go to eat at Chili's one day, and we're sitting there, and I shit you not, I don't see myself as someone like David Lee. David Lee is David Lee, he's popular. He's the name, that he has the name David Lee. Or say, for example, Peter Studio, I'm just Danny. I'm the keyboard player, the guy in the back who plays keyboards, So we're sitting there at Chili's, man, and we're eating. All of a sudden, this guy, man, he actually pops up right at our table. Hey, I'm looking at him like, yeah, you're that guy, right? I'm like thinking, what guy? I could be anybody. Murderer? Who am I? No, you didn't see me on Most Wanted. I promise you, that wasn't me. But so he tells me, no, you play with David Lee, right? Like, yeah, I do. Yeah, man. He goes, me and my wife were sitting over there and we saw you and wanted to come say hi, whatever. Y'all gonna be playing here, so it's all cool, man. And I'm just in the middle of eating my little steak and my kid. So my sons are just looking at me like, who's this crazy fool, Dad? You know, okay. And he's just standing there, right? And he wants to talk, hold a conversation, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, man. Hopefully, we'll see you there wherever. I think we were going to play at Cowboys, is what it was, and before actually all this COVID-19, I think it was, and so he leaves, and they leave, him and his wife or whatever. They're walking out. So my older son says, "Oh, so you think you're famous now, Dad?" No. So check it out. So I said, "Hey, so before we leave, let me go to the restroom, and I'll pay, and we'll get out of here." Okay. I kid you not. I go to the restroom, and I'm coming back to the table, and I hear, "Hey, hey," and I'm thinking they're not calling me because I'm not. Hey, I have a name, but. Hey, hey, excuse me, sir. I'm like, hey, what the hell? So I turn around. Who, me? Like, yeah, come here. So I go back over there, and it's another couple, and they were sitting with a bunch of kids and some other family people, I guess it's like a basketball team, a girls' basketball team. And I go over there, yeah. They're like, hey, you play with David Lee Garza, right? And I said, yeah. So he tells his wife, I told you I knew who he was. And his wife is sitting she's sitting right in front of me, and I see her on her phone looking through the pictures, right? So, I click on, right there. So I click on our newest poster that we have. I say, I'm the little midget guy right there, the smallest guy right there, the shortest one. That's me. They all start laughing. So I see I turn around, and I look over at the table where my kids are sitting, and I see my oldest son just shaking his head like, really? So then I go back to the table. Now you really think you're famous right now. No, son. So, but again, to kids, you're just dad, it's like, whatever, so, and that's the thing with my son is I've told him, I'm proud of him. You have to kind of encourage them to try to, and it's like I told him, I'm not going to force him to play Tejano music, but I'd love for him to learn and try to incorporate whatever he learns. Because no matter what you do, I think learning from different genres of music, it always works, to interchange them, And sure enough, he's done some music where I totally freak. It's regular chords, man, from a Tejano song, and he's putting it into some kind of hip hop song, and it sounds really cool, and with some trumpets or whatever. Like, oh, yeah, that's pretty nice, And it's funny to see his friends come over, African Americans that, they're in there and they'll hear me play piano. I was like, we have a piano sitting out there, and they'll hear me play. Your dad plays music? Well, I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, where do you think my son got it from? He's just not, God gave us the talent, but yeah, he had to learn it from somewhere too. It's like, Dad, I learned it in school. He tells me, my bad, I'm sorry. So, I hope to, and it's hard because, you don't really see a lot of young kids in Tejano music, man, and that's the hard thing, man, and it's like I told my son, I'm not going to force him to play Tejano. Hey, eventually, if he wants to, like I said, he has sat in with me. He was supposed to do a gig with me at Market Square for Emmanuel J, for Emma, and he was willing to do it. He's like, yeah, Dad, what do you want me to do? I said, well, just, chords or whatever. So I was like, and I'll take the easier part. You do the chords, and I'll take the easier part, and I'll just play the leads and the little string lines, Okay. Oh, and I was like, cool. So I hope that to see more kids eventually, like Emmanuel J and his brother, man, great musicians, man. They're only 23 years old, man, and it's like, wow, man, and there's a lot more kids out there also that I don't know their names, and I've seen them, and I was like, man, to see the young cats come up, and it's like, yeah, cool, man, and to see, I never thought I would say I'm one of the old guys now, it's like, shit, I'm old. Damn.
I'm 36, and I'm the old guy in my band. So.
Damn. Okay. See. So, well, I'm 46, but I can easily say I'm not the old guy in the band. So.
We got a couple things.
I'm actually here. I'm right in the middle, so that's good.
There you go. Not quite AARP, but not also in diapers. So.
There you go.
Not in diapers, but not in diapers. Somewhere in the middle. Anyway,
Oh my God.
Okay, so a couple more. Okay. We're professional here, right? We're all professionals here. Okay. So John Cruz says
We're good.
y'all are a little off track.
We are. We haven't even talked about nothing about music, but hey, it's been a great.
Yeah, this has been fun, man.
An hour and 45 minutes. This has been fun.
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez says, one last question: do you miss Wowie being in the band? And then,
man, you know what? I honestly, I do, man. I really, really do. Like, I think I was talking to you, right, Chris? We were talking about this earlier about, you know, Wowie has a unique sound, man, as a sax player, man, and as you know, keyboard. You know, you can get a nice sax sound, but nothing against Emma J, you know. But this Wowie has a unique sound, man. That you know, it is musicales, you know.
Right.
So, and don't get me wrong, Emma J has really kind of learned the way Wowie plays on saxophone with the pitch bend and everything, and it gets his little slides and everything. It's very interesting to hear him play, man. It's like, wow, okay, he can. And sometimes I forget that he's not there, but you know. But yeah, no, I really do. I really miss him on stage with us.
All the falsetto voices that are missing. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of, Emmanuel J says, I miss Wowie being in the band.
He wasn't even in the band.
I know. Maybe from a fan perspective, you know. He says, I still want your song to play for me, Danny. What? I still want your song to play for me. I think you meant your son. Oh, yeah. It says right underneath it, son, with an asterisk.
Oh, son.
I still want your son to play for me, Danny. So, well, Danny, we should probably wrap this up, man. You got to go to.
Yes, sir.
You got to go to bed because you got to.
You know, yeah, I got to go Mimi's because you know I got to wake up early because about 5 o'clock in the morning. To take a shower, get ready for work, you know, all the good stuff, man.
And you might have narcolepsy and fall asleep right in the middle of the rest of this interview. Sleep apnea. Okay. How does that polka go?
Yeah. No, hey. If you can play it in your sleep, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? I mean, come on now. So, but yeah, man, I guess we can wrap this up, man. And it was fun, man. I had a blast, man.
Yeah.
It went by actually really fast.
Yeah, I will have to do this some other time, man, because, like, there's only so many keyboard players, and if I continue to do this, we'll have to, you know, bring some of you guys back on and, you know, talk about other things, you know. Things that
you throw some more people under the bus and yeah, man, this is great. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
And thank you for your.
We can continue throwing people under the bus.
Thank you for your contribution to the industry. Yeah. Any last shout outs or anything that you want to say or?
Yeah, man, I just want to give a shout out to everybody. Stay safe. You know, hopefully we'll see you pretty soon out there on the road. Want to say hi to my mom, to my family, my sons. The guys in the band, hey, pretty soon, hopefully we get back together and we can start doing this again. And just to all the fans that are out there at Musicales, you know, and all my buddies and friends that I haven't seen in a while either, but hopefully we see everybody soon. And again, y'all just be safe out there, you know. And I don't know, do we still have that stay home going on? I mean, I don't know because I've never gotten to stay home because since I'm in the medical field, you know.
You're essential.
Stay home, what stay home? You know, but it was fun. I appreciate it, Ro, and man, we got to do it again, man, for real.
Absolutely. If you want to hang tight for a second, we're going to sign off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the questions and stuff that have come in. I'm going to just double check and make sure that I didn't leave out any messages. From a while ago, a Cindy Ann Duran says, hi, Danny. Looking great. Always smiling. So.
Yes.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week we have Bam Bam Ramos from Joe Lopez.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, man.
Who happens to be my wife's first cousin, so he's kind of kin. So he was obligated to do it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, all right, everyone. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. And hasta luego.
Same bat channel.
Yep, we'll see you.